The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stefan Chbosky. The book was published on February 1st, 1999 by Pocket Books. It's about a socially awkward boy named Charlie who's trying to find his way through the world despite all the trauma and hardships that his life has thrown at him. And due to the peer pressure, the main character, Charlie, gets involved with a lot of things he shouldn't have, like drugs and alcohol, to cope with the peer pressure and also to make friends. There was a movie adapted in 2012, and it hit the big screen on September 28th. It was a romance thriller and lasted an hour and 45 minutes long. Interesting fact, though, is that it was also adapted by the same person who made the book. The main character is named Charlie, and he is played by Logan Letterman. Quick warning, though. This book includes a major mature material like abortion, rape, drug abuse, molestation, and sex, which some viewers might not be prepared for and may find offensive and disturbing. The story is told in the year 1991 from the main character's Charlie's point of view. It also ends at a similar time in the latter year. The story takes form in the letters that he writes. All of these letters are addressed to an unknown friend, however, Charlie specifies that they are older and they are really trustworthy. Throughout the book, Charlie makes friends with a lot of other high schoolers while also reminiscing about his traumatic past and how those effects have affected him in his high school life. For example, one of his best friends, Michael, committed suicide before his junior year in high school, and about how his aunt sexually molested him when he was only a 6-year-old. The book's ultimate message is actually about relationships, self-love, and self-preservation. It reminds the reader about the importance of getting help. The letters help Charlie move from being numb in his life to a coming of age and show us his descent through the story, as well as his efforts to improve himself. I have a couple quotes proving this too, like for example, when Charlie's English teacher says, "Charlie, we accept the love we deserve," and when Charlie says, "Things change and friends leave, and life doesn't stop for anyone." The events stated on screen are how the book plays out. Charlie actually starts his first year of high school and is extremely socially awkward. One of his friends kills himself before the year due to a horrible home life. Charlie starts going to school and making friends with seniors, but during that, he befriends a girl named Sam and her brother Patrick, and also his English teacher. Charlie starts going to parties with both of them, and he starts drinking and doing a lot of drugs. Through this, though, Charlie makes a lot of friends and keeps going out and making bad decisions throughout his first year. However, later in the book, Charlie is reminded that his Aunt Helen, who was his favorite person in the whole world, molested him as a child and breaks down. After this, though, Charlie gets hospitalized and starts getting help, and decides to return to school and stop being such a wallflower and actually participate. The story takes place in Pittsburgh. It is the main location of the book. However, Charlie mainly stays at his house, goes to his school, and he also drives around with Sam and Patrick to their hangout spot, the Big Boy, as well as to attend parties. Now, the time of this book takes place between the dates August 25th, 1991, and August 23rd, 1992. Here's a list of the 4 most important characters in the book. Charlie. He's the main character and narrator. He's a freshman in high school and has severe mental and social issues due to his aunt's death and her molestation of him. Aunt Helen. Charlie's favorite person in the whole world. She was killed many years ago on Charlie's birthday, and due to sexual abuse towards her as a child, she directs her sexual abuse towards Charlie and molests him when he was only 6 years old. Sam. Charlie's main love interest throughout the film, described as the prettiest girl in the whole world throughout Charlie's eyes. And Patrick, Sam's brother, who brings Charlie out to parties, and he is also gay and interested in Brad, one of the side characters of the story. Cause of the banning. Perks of Being a Wallflower was originally challenged in 2003, almost 4 years after its release, where, according to the article, Banned Books 2023, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Ron Titus from Marshall University, the book was challenged in Fairfax, VA, school libraries by a group of parents against bad books for schools in profanity and descriptions of drug abuse, sexually explicit content, and torture. Throughout the years, it has been banned and challenged in multiple places, for example, Massachusetts High School, Portage IN High School, Wallingford CN, etc., for offensive reasons and nothing really specific. However, there have been many times where the book has been withheld for actual reasons. One was from Hadley Junior High School in Glen Ellen IL, in 2014, where they deemed that it was unsafe to have a book about drug abuse in a middle school, and in 2017, Picasso FL Middle School, where they deemed it was disgusting for its explicit references. Furthermore, San Diego State University has written an article by Chandler Burke in 2017, which was against the book's banning due to the fact that it censored gay and LGBTQ themes, stating that the significance of my analysis is that it affects the viewers of the text by making them fear themselves and others if they want to come out as gay. It also continues to exemplify bullying amongst the gay community, especially among teens and young adults, showing us that censoring content like this could actually be harmful towards the youth, as they would not know how to deal with getting bullied at school for their sexuality or coming out in the first place. Also, the bullies wouldn't know why you shouldn't bully for someone for their sexuality. Lastly, I have a quote about why the book was banned in the first place. That has both drugs and, LGBTQ content. So, Patrick and Brad both got pretty drunk at the party. Actually, Patrick said that he was pretending to be a lot drunker than he really was. Brad and Patrick were left, and Patrick said that it was uncomfortable and exciting for the both of them, which was said by Charlie upon learning that Patrick and Brad were in a gay relationship. These are just some more quotes I found and some articles explaining why the book was banned. One of the quotes is, "Do you know what masturbation is? I think you probably do because you're older than me. Masturbation is when you rub your genitals until you have an orgasm." Wow. This quote was actually said by Charlie in a letter near the beginning of chapter 2. Charlie also says, "When I fall asleep, I had this dream. My brother and my sister were watching television with my Aunt Helen. Everything was in slow motion. The sound was thick, and she was doing what Sam was doing." So this quote is actually said by Charlie after he has intercourse with Sam, implying that Aunt Helen molested him. The last quote states that, "I will not say who, I will not say when. I will just say that my Aunt Helen was molested. I hate that word." Now this is when Charlie is revealing Aunt Helen's traumatic past to the reader. We don't know now, but this affects her in a way that causes her to be the abuser later. Here for the next slide, I just have a picture of the author and actually an article about these schools trying to ban the Perks of the Wallflower from their library. I have a YouTube video there as well, however, we can watch that after I'm fully finished the presentation because I don't really want to pad out the runtime. Was the banning deserved, and who is the book's target audience? So in my personal opinion, I actually think the banning of the books is quite justifiable as long as it is only in middle schools and the early year of high schools. There are a lot of themes in here about drug abuse and suicide, molestation, not a lot of safe things for kids. So most of these bannings are actually very acceptable and very good because in the wrong hands, the book could be dangerous or traumatic for some people since the content is very mature. In my personal opinion though, I think that the book obviously is meant for teenagers and youthful adults. It contains a lot of themes of self-discovery, as well as LGBTQ elements, and self-care, the way Charlie deals with his trauma and grows from it. The book is about finding oneself, otherwise known as a coming-of-age book, which is exactly why it is perfect in being aimed towards young adults. The resolution of the book is actually quite sweet, as it shows the main character Charlie recovering from his mental breakdown upon finding out that Aunt Helen molested him. During this time, he is hospitalized, but he has been working with a therapist, and now he has a closer relationship with his family. He eventually hopes to go back to school, as the last letter is addressed at the beginning of the book. A quote states, "Tomorrow I start my sophomore year of high school, and believe it or not, I'm not really that afraid of going. I'm not sure if I will have the time to write any more letters because I might be too busy trying to participate. So if this does end up being my last letter, please believe that things are good with me, and even if when they're not, they will be soon enough, and I will believe the same about you." The main message behind the book. Now I've already talked about the themes of Perk being a wallflower, but time and time again we see the characters of the book seem to hide who they are from the world, and only by taking control of their lives can they really grow and better as more independent people. We see this the most through Charlie actually, since he's the focal point and the one who writes the letters. At the beginning of the book, Charlie goes from a lonely but happy kid who just wants to go to school and make some friends, to a boy experimenting with drugs to find friends despite not taking charge for himself, and to eventually someone who has learned to know better and is excited for the future instead of nervous. I also have an article here that helps further these themes. In the article, The Perks of Being a Wallflower and the Narrative Development by Angel Daniel Metos of Université Libertés states that To further emphasize the interactive role that Charlie assumes, he typically describes himself as a writer and a reader, focusing the development of internal thoughts and ideas while executing no direct action and effects toward the exterior world. Thus, Charlie's attempts to adopt his world and eventually understand it are limited to the analytical capabilities of his awareness rather than pragmatic experiences and interventions. He's a person of thought, not of action. And lastly, I have a quote of them describing Charlie at the beginning of the book, where they say, "He's a wallflower. You see things, you keep quiet about them, and you understand," which is what Patrick says to Charlie at the beginning. The author behind the book, Stephen Chbosky, is known as an American screenwriter, author, and also a film director. Now, he is most known for the book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but he also directed the movie to that and did another coming-of-age story through the movie of Wonder. He was born on the 25th of January in the year 1970 and was raised in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, which is oddly enough where the book takes place. And then here is all my works cited. Now we can move on to that YouTube video. Thank you for listening to my ISU, and I hope you have a good day.